Hi guys, and welcome to Wrong Way. And I've got to be honest with y'all, I have never been really a great fan of the GotWay MSuper line until now. This machine is absolutely insane! Wrong way. And guys, all of this would not be possible if not Bogdan. We exchanged wheels with Bogdan. I gave him the Nikola for testing and he gave me the MSP, though he just have bought it. Just arrived in Warsaw, so just type in the comments, thank you Bogdan, and this will probably make his day. You see, GotWay's MSuper line already has sort of a legendary status. There were many iterations like the V3S, V3S Plus, MSX, one of the most popular wheels and one of the most reliable wheels. But I'd be a liar if I said that I love the MSX and that it is the best wheel for everyone. And before we move on to the good stuff, I gotta say that a lot of the stuff on the MSX has not been fixed on the MS Pro. Like for example, out of the box, the pedals just don't close at all. Just foot plates. This one as well. They're really quite tiny for a human being with feet. This model actually came without a mudguard, and if you own a MSX or if you know anyone with a MSX, there's a huge market for third-party 3D printed mudguards for this wheel. There's also a standard mudguard from GotWay, but yeah, it's pretty tiny, but I heard that it also does a good job. In comparison, my GotWay Nikola out of the factory has really big, comfortable foot plates. It doesn't pretty much need a mudguard because of its enclosure. The wheel is hidden front and rear, and the foot plates don't get stuck like on the MS Pro. The trolley handle still looks like it's from a luggage, and it's still hard to get out, and it closes a bit if you like move it around. The placement, I got a bit used to the placement, but it's by far not as perfect as on the GotWay Nikola, since if you're not used to this sort of trolley handle, you might at first just lose the control over the wheel. Some of the riders love the design of the MS Pro, some other things that it looks like a Fiat Multipla. Basically, it's a beefed up version of the MSX. It's wider here to support the bigger battery pack, and there's basically also no improvement in terms of side lighting. These are just really basic LED stripes, nothing special. Maybe it's just cool that the lights shine also on the wheel itself in the night. This looks pretty cool. So what exactly did GotWay do to make me fall in love with this wheel? Well, they actually listened to a lot of the customer remarks and added a few improvements, one of which is crucial, but I'll come to that in a sec. They've added speakers. Let me tell you more about it. Wrong way. That's one thing that was never present on the MSX. The speakers are very similar to the new GotWay Nikola speakers. Have a rich bass, sound pretty good, but still they're quieter than on my, that's bumpy here, on my GotWay Nikola V1. They've also increased the battery capacity to 1,800 watt hours, and they also use the new 21700 cells, which are bigger in size than the 18650s, and they have way better performance and they can charge at a much higher rate. The new twin T6 diodes honestly put all other unicycle lights to shame. They're so bright. It's probably the first electric unicycle I can ride in the night without any additional lighting. They've also added a lift sensor, but maybe it's not as much as a lift sensor, it's pretty much a lift button. It's placed on one side, so it's more comfortable to grab with your right hand, but honestly it's like no issue to grab it with your left hand as well. But probably the single biggest upgrade of the MS Pro is the motor. How much of an upgrade is it? Well, let me show you. Yeah, that's the difference. The torque on this thing is absolutely insane. And naturally, going downstairs has never, whoa, tilt back, out in the front, been so easy. Yeah, that has been probably one of the biggest obstacles I have taken on a wheel. So yeah, the biggest gripe I always had with the MSX wasn't the turning, wasn't the tire, wasn't, well, maybe a little bit the mudguards and lack of speakers, but it just felt so sleepy to me. The Nikola had just so much more acceleration and torque, which the MSX lacked. The biggest improvement in the MSP is the motor. It's a wider motor. It has 2,500 watts of nominal power. Peak power is somewhere in the region of a singular nuclear power plant, and this makes this machine just so much fun. I mean, just look at it. I can just lean so hard and it just accelerates and it pushes more, and it's just so much fun. Whoa, it's so fast. And therefore it also brakes better and goes uphill more. How good does it go uphill? Well, I have a special hill prepared for the MSP, but we'll be there in a second. So the main target of GotWay was to increase security of the riders, decreasing the top speed of the wheel. Top speed here is around 60-65 kilometers an hour. You definitely shouldn't do this day by day. I don't test wheel top speed like FANTOMAS does. Check out this channel below if you haven't seen it. Go watch it. It's a lot of fun. For us, not for him. The acceleration really is what makes the MSP so much fun. Again, the magnets are wider. Police. The magnets are wider, the engine is more powerful, and it also uses actually less current, so it should get a better range as well. In terms of just the range, I had actually two range tests. It just goes to show you, I drove each day above 70 kilometers on the wheel, so it has to be sort of comfortable. And one range test was around 68 kilometers, and I was riding the whole time. You can see the stats on the screen, and it was totally dead at the first range test. On the second range test, I had still a couple percent of battery left, 5 or 10%, and actually until the last 5 or 10% you can still go pretty quick. On other GotWay wheels you probably can go just like 20-25 kilometers an hour, maybe even slower, and on the MSP you can still crush it like 35-40 kilometers an hour, but definitely you shouldn't do it because you could get a cutoff. But even the alarms don't kick in so much when you drive with these speeds at this battery percentage. So this is amongst the 18-inch wheels probably the wheel that has the most range. Maybe with careful driving the King Song 18XL could have a little more, because usually the King Song wheels just have more range, but they're just slower, and they can cut you off at lower battery levels. When it comes to charging, it comes standard with a 3 amp charger, and remember that the battery voltage here is 100 volts, so it takes way less time to charge it up to 100%. In this case, it took, I think, around 5 hours or 6 hours with the stock charger. Usually it's just like 20 hours. And if you get a special charger, you could probably charge it up like an hour or so. These Samsung 21700 battery cells are truly ridiculous in terms of battery charging speeds. I think even 10 amp, like per, even I think 10 amps per single cell is possible. So maybe you could even max out the regular household socket at 3 kilowatts. Well, that's yet to find out, but this is a wheel that you should totally get over the MSX or any 84 volt wheel, because it's future proof. These batteries will last longer, they will charge faster, and they will give you better performance at a cooler rate. I mean, at a cooler vehicle temperature. And this is also what Marty Backe, shout out to you, noticed in his overheat hill test. And I would really love to do the overheat hill test as well, but on my GotWay Nikola 84 volt. I think she can do it. Anyways, this is my petite hill. The special thing about it is that it's 34 degrees. I could barely go up here with my GotWay Nikola 84 volt. Let's see what the MSP can do. 34 degrees. This is 4 degrees or even 5 degrees more than my usual hill where the Wolf Warrior 11 Plus failed. Okay, let's do it. It's like a goat! I mean, dudes, really, if you could see it from this angle, this looks like a vertical wall. I think it could do just a tiny bit more, but it's quite difficult to find such a hill. Let's go down. Whoa! As you can see, ridiculous. Okay guys, this is true 40 degrees. I know what will happen. Let's find out. There's no machine that can top this thing. 40 degrees? Are you serious? Just to prove to you guys, here are the tire marks. This is the steepness. And this is how it looked like from my perspective. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to tell you, these are the monocustomize pads I have on the MS Pro. I couldn't take them out because they're like glued in place, so this is like the only thing that is not stock on the GotWay MS Pro. And actually, GotWay does supply you with pads, but this is the biggest joke I have ever seen of a side pad. And these are 2 side pads. Like, GotWay, seriously. This is like a foot sole. I can put this into my shoe. And this is probably the only wheel you can do this with because of the lack of any enclosure up in the front. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. This is still here, but it's a lot quieter. So listen guys, in terms of performance, in terms of fun factor, just accelerating, going off-road because of the bigger wheel diameter is really sick and awesome. The batteries, the motor is the wheel you should get right now. If you are doubting like what wheel to choose, whether to give a little bit of more money to GotWay Cabia Intelligent, what was it? Vehicle transportation, I know. To get the MS Pro, I'm here to tell you, get it. It's the best. It's really awesome. It doesn't come, it's not a perfect wheel. Like if you want to have a more like agile wheel in terms of turning left and right in a city, probably the GotWay Nikola will be better in this case. This is a cruiser. This is a fast wheel. This is a super stable wheel at like 50-40 kilometers an hour. Like I have no stress at all going over pavement, going over asphalt, going over any sort of surface. I can even hold my camera now and go like, yeah, like 40 or 50. This just show you how comfortable this wheel is. I mean, you can start with the GotWay MSP. You can get it now. I mean, it's just totally worth the money. Still, like if you want to get just more speed, and do the like FANTOMAS stuff, I will get the MSX 100 volt. There are also other versions of the MSX, like on the MSPX, MSPS, I don't know. The old engine can take more top speed. So if you want to go like 65, 70, probably get the MSX 100 volt, not the MSP. But in any other situation, the GotWay MSP is the best choice of a wheel you can get right now, even though it has two small pedals, even though it has a, in my opinion, shitty trolley handle, but it's secured, so that's a good thing. And the T6 lights are awesome, and they blind people as hell, so maybe in a future update they could allow you to just use a singular light in a GotWay in this wheel. And even with this weight, this thing I'm riding right now is the wheel to get at the time of publishing this video. So if you're still here, leave a massive like on the video. A like so big I could see it from Poland in any country where you're from. Subscribe to this channel to see more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video. See you soon. I'm gonna power on. I just want to ride this thing forever. Boom.